Hey everyone, coming on real fast because of the big obnoxious manifesto passed. Apparently, um, that's pretty gross. So I guess they got Murkowski. I had a feeling. I mean, she sort of went back and forth, and she sounded like she wouldn't vote on it. This big horrible manifesto. Um, but I kind of felt like she was just that was a little bit of a play. And the whole Josh Hawley thing of saying, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for it. This is horrible," but he voted for it, and I knew he would vote for it because let me tell you something. These people, you could just see it. They're and there's something so toxic about the whole climate right now in politics. It really is the imagery of a bag of apples and the one rotten apple infecting all of them slowly, one by one, until they're all just completely rotten. And there's something about, like, you and I, we wouldn't go, let's say we went somewhere to a party, we wouldn't go hang out with the horrible person who said horrible things about other people and had manifestos that would kill people, right? And say, well, it'll be okay if you do this and you do that, and here's the logic and why it's okay. You would say, no, I'm not going to hang out with you. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to let you infect my brain with your mental disease. And that's, I feel like, in the money and the power and the way they have to talk to each other and make, you know, agreements with each other. It's just there's no agreements. No, not going to agree on this. Have a backbone, but they're in this climate. It's like zombies. They're all getting infected. So, God, it's just my throat hurts. This explains why. Before I just read this news, I was wondering why my throat hurt really bad and was getting really tight, and I just feel sick. I feel sick, and just out of nowhere, and that's it. This is it. Because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I didn't eat anything bad. Haven't had any sickness around me that I could catch. This is it. This is the universe I'm picking up on. And the other thing is, so right around the election, my dog Kieran was attacked. Another dog ran across the park, grabbed him, bit him like 3 or 4 times. Luckily, he had his collar on, so he was okay. My dog. And I had to lift up his leash and swing him in the air and grab him away from the dog that was going to go for another round of trying to bite him in the neck. And he did bite him in the neck, and my dog was screaming. And I just remember, I was like, oh my God, why would this just happen out of nowhere? We walk the park every day. This never happened. I've had dogs act weird around him. Yes, I'm very careful, but they never. And I just thought, the person I thought of was Putin in Russia. And then the election happened, and that same nasty negative energy was happening that whole 3 or 4 days leading up to the election until the next day, when it was almost like we got out of whatever that negative, horrible energy was, and then we had to deal with the aftermath. And then it happened again with some of the other things they've done, and then with the inauguration and other things. And I can always tell now, because my dog always, and this has never happened before until this horrible party got elected illegitimately. But every time, my dog gets attacked now. And I took him for a walk today, and I was thinking about this bill today when it passed. They were making it sound like it wasn't going to pass. I was like, it's not going to pass. I still had that little hope. Oh, like maybe it'll go past July 4th. And Trump was like yelling at people, "You've got to get it done by July 4th. I want it now, Daddy, now." And so went for the walk. I was thinking about it a little bit, but trying to stay positive. And a dog came out of nowhere and was going to attack my dog, my little dog. And what's funny was I had been sort of distracted, looking away, and my dog made this motion, and I looked over like, oh, here comes this big, it was like a Rottweiler. And so, and normally my dog Kjarn is, he can be friendly, but he doesn't want me to pick him up all the time. But this time he came to me and he wanted me to pick him up, so I did. And the thing was, well, anyway, long story short, after that happened, a near miss, another near attack. I was like, what is this? What is this? And I thought, oh, I bet that bill's going to pass today, because this is the nastiness of the universe. I really feel like I always see Putin again in Russia, that he puts out this nasty negative energy. They have like these, like I said, like voodoo. I swear to God, they have like dark voodoo. It really is a horrible, you could feel it in the universe. It's awful. It's awful to be an empath right now. One way it passed, and as you know, um, like I said yesterday, it doesn't really go in effect till 2028, and someone said 2030 today, but I've heard 2028, so we have years to have to mull over this. I'm sure some things will instantly go in effect. But the thing is, what it does is it puts a pall on humanity, as if it's not bad enough already. And it kind of puts the message out of, we're done. Like, we've reached the lowest. We already have these torture camps and these horrible things happening. And it's like this, but here's the thing. It's always darkest before dawn. As other readers have said, and I agree with this is really suicide for the Republican Party, for the Trump-led Republican Party. They just signed their own suicide. And it really has that feeling of like somebody standing on a bridge saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to jump. You're like, don't jump. Don't jump. You'll either maim yourself for life or you'll die. There's other options. Don't do the extreme option. Don't do the extreme thing. And, here we are all crying out, don't do this. It's a manifesto. It's Project 2025. That's what this whole thing is. Okay? It's not a bill, it's a manifesto. It's like some crazy gunman in his house hands the cops a piece of paper, and it's his manifesto. That's what this is. This is 45's manifesto. And really, it's going to end the Republican Party. It is. It's so stupid. Now, here's the thing. So, and even Elon, who I can't stand, because he's not a good person. He can be. He could change. I believe anyone could change, and I think parts of him is trying to change, but I can't accept the horrible things he's done. I'm not ready to be over that yet, although I feel like he'll confess that he stole the election for entertainment purpose only. So he can be useful. Well, anyway, even he was saying, don't do this. It's stupid. It's horrible. It's more about the money for him. Anyway, here's why here's why this big beautiful manifesto is not a big beautiful thing. So what they're doing is, you notice how they're taking I'm going to take trillions of dollars and billions of dollars, and you're like, oh, okay, so what are you going to use it for? It's going to heal the economy, and we're going to be the best country ever. And you're like, okay, so the only way to do that would be is if we all had a house and we all had food, or an apartment, we had food and health care and no war, and everybody had a good trade and people were happy, right? That's how you would make everything great. But no, he's going to take everything away. He's going to take all that money. To where does that money go? Well, he's giving a whole bunch of it to himself, obviously. Gobble, gobble, gobble. But he's diverting a whole bunch of it to his sick fantasy of kidnapping people who have brown skin and putting them in concentration camps so he can torture them day in, day out. This narcissist dream is to torture people all the time and have fuel. They love the fuel of the misery and the pain of their victims. And so his thinking, though, is that he'll get that money back because he's going to put them in private prisons after he tortures them for a while, and the ones who survive, put them in prisons and slave trades. And so his slave trade is going to make money for America. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that such a beautiful idea? Wow, what a great guy. What price gold? What price gold? Selling our souls here on this physical plane. I don't even care if there's a heaven or hell anymore. I don't want to participate in this horrible thing. Now, here's the thing. He may get by with he's spending all this money to build the masses of these camps across America. Florida's just a test strip. So he can pretty much imprison all of us. Mr. Jim Jones, Charles Manson, put us all in a prison, and we all work for him and make money for it because everything's about money for him. And he owns all of us. That narcissist dream, own all of us. And but that takes a lot of money to do all that and to pay these guys to nab all of us off the streets and put us in these prison camps and concentration camps and make us turn into his slaves. It takes a lot of money. But he's thinking, but the return will be great. It's the return of this immoral ticket to hell thing that he's doing that we're supposed to agree with, because in the end it'll be okay. No, it's never going to be okay. So here's the thing. It may not be now, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a week, a month, a year, but I would say at least in 3 years after all this horrible thing is happening, it's going to end just the way all of these things end, crimes against humanity. And how does that end? In a bunker. Get the drift. Or in a plantation with Kool-Aid laced with cyanide, and it doesn't end well. And here's the other, as I've always said, you're never going to get all the immigrants, never. All the brown people, never, never. So he can do all this and he'll never get them all. And other countries are going to step in. And guess what? All this money's going to just go down the drain. He has to feed everyone, still have to feed them, and pay the guards, and then at the end you're not going to get your trade. You may have a year of making money off your private prisons, but then you're going to be massively, you and all your whole regime are going to be held accountable. Just like people mentioned The Hague. So there's not going to be the return for this wasteful, horrible manifesto. And how dare we, even for 1 second, entertain the idea of this? But anyway, it's their ticket to their own end. Republicans and 45 have signed a ticket to their. Now, I want to talk about, because people were talking this morning about why is he putting barricades up around the White House again, and all these, tanks and things like that. Because he's scared. And some people were saying, was it because of this bill? And I instantly got, yeah, it's because of the bill. And that's the thing. When they say there's options and where Democrats can vote, people can vote. No, this is the Mike Johnson thing where they do it in the dark of night and they push it through and they whittle away people, and the weak people fall away. Like Fetterman, I just want to go hang out at the lake, so I'll just vote and get this over with. No, this like humanity in line, and you are put in a place of power to save humanity, to save lives. But he wanted to go to the lake, so the weak people fell away, and they get the last people in like a dance contest, an all-night dance contest, and the ones that stay in there, the most stubborn and prideful and angry and vindictive, stay in there. And then they passed the bill, and Trump knew the bill was going to pass. He knew, because he had the orders out, and Mike Johnson always pushes and he gets people to do the dirty work, and he gets them to do it, and they did it. It's disgusting. So they knew it was going to pass. They knew they were going to get it done. And he knows. He put the barricades up, he knows. And that also means that he knows that it's that bad, that he's hurting people so much that people would want to come to the White House and confront him over it. So he puts up his little boy, he does the dirty work, and then goes and hides. Georgie Porgy runs away, puts up his barricades, and hides. He knows that's how bad. If he thought it was actually good for people, he could stand out on the balcony and say, "Aren't I a lovely guy? You can bow. But no, he knows that it's not good. He knows it's not a good thing. He knows it's going to hurt people. He knows this. And he knows that people want to retaliate because people aren't stupid. He also admitted today, like when he was talking about Elon, and he said maybe Doge will be the monster that gets him back. So he knows that Doge is bad. He knew that Doge is a monster that's meant to destroy and hurt and take and gobble up people's money and their security. And so he knows all these horrible things that he's doing, but he's just a chicken little hiding. And I also got, let me see if I can find it. I did ask Spirit this morning, why is he putting up the barricades? But that's really the instant thing, is he knew the bill would pass. He and Mike Johnson always do it in the dark of night. My dog always gets attacked when they do these horrible bills or near attacks. And but anyway, but he's also afraid because there's this death call out on him from Iran, which they've already had one out on him, but now they really do, because he tried to make them fools when he was the one who got tricked with this whole stupid thing that he did. Well, anyway, the war in the air is what's. So I asked Spirit. One way that I ask Spirit is through stichomancies, which is you ask Spirit to give you a passage from literature. And for me personally, I always get Balzac. Because, and I think that's because he wrote a lot about women and women's lives and their issues and things like that. But with 45, I get a lot of stuff from Frederick Douglass, and I get a lot of things from H.G. Wells and things about Trinity of war and things like that. Anyway, so what I got today was The War in the Air by H.G. Wells. So that right there tells me he's afraid. 45 is afraid of Iran. And he's afraid of the American people. But this is what it said. An equal curiosity. No city in the world was ever so finely placed as New York, so magnificently cut up by sea and bluff and river, so admirable, I can't talk. I've said that word a million times. Disposed to display the tall effects of buildings. Disposed. The complex immensities of bridges and monorailways and feats of engineering. See, he's afraid. He's afraid of other countries coming in here. London, Paris, Berlin were shapeless, low agglomerations beside it. Its port reached to its heart like Venice. And like Venice, it was obvious, dramatic, and proud. That sounds like him. Seen from above, it was alive and crawling trains and cars, and at 1,000 points it was already breaking into quivering light. New York was altogether at its best that evening. It's splendid. So I don't know. Just that the war in the air is really what I got from that. He's afraid of Iran, but he's afraid of us. He's afraid of all of us protesting. And I bet you there will be protests. I bet people are going to be mad and they're going to protest at the White House. And why did he have to do it by 4th of July? Because he owns America. 45 said America is his. It's not ours, even though he's a public servant. But he thinks America is his. So 4th of July, of course, he wants to stand out there and he's going to do a public thing on TV, most likely, and say, I've saved America with my great, big, beautiful, blah, 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 my manifesto that's going to kill people. It's going to ruin America. But here's what I see happening. It was watered down. A lot of things were taken out that would have been extremely harmful. It doesn't go in effect until 2028, and he's not going to be around. He himself is not going to be around. So, but what he just did again is he ended the Republican Party with his manifesto. You know, when somebody says, don't eat the whole cake, don't eat the whole cake, you'll get sick. And he's the guy that says, oh, I can eat the whole cake. I can eat 2 cakes, and I can eat a hamburger and have soda. And then he throws up all night and gets sick and needs his appendix taken out. And, you know, he really gobbled up the whole cake. And now he has to deal with the sickness that comes from it. It's his own doing. You know, people talk about how criminals get stupid and people don't know when to stop. Well, he doesn't know when to stop, and he just had to do this horrible thing. Narcissists never know when to stop. And he finally did it. He did the worst thing he could possibly do. It's where his own people are going to hate him. I don't think it'll take that long. Now that they all got what they wanted, right? Which is to completely destroy and torture what they think Democrats. But it's going to be, because we're all here together, we're all on the Titanic together. It won't take long before the last of the MAGA Republicans turn around and go, oh my God, what did we do? We went too far. I ate too much, and I went too far. And that's really what just happened. They're not going to make money. This isn't going to save America. It's going to end the Republican Party, and they're going to be prosecuted for their crimes against humanity. He's not going to make money off of his slave trade, private prisons, torture camps. No, no. This was dumb. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.